Hello and welcome back to Calradia Expanded, and we're going to be getting into a battle very early on here with a Cortanian vassal. Now, I actually wanted to do an auto-resolve here, but I thought to myself, I've actually primarily got archers in my army at the moment, because I've given all of my infantry to my allies, and there's a good reason for that too, because of course, if we get into a siege, I will want most of my infantry to be in the garrison there, and I've actually found that to be a very effective way of basically preventing the opponent from pretty much doing any kind of damage, or shall we say dissuading them as much as we possibly can in their efforts to retake it. So obviously that's fantastic, that's a pretty good way to do it. However, obviously that does leave me a little bit... I mean, you can see here that I have 123 archers, but that is, well, that's all me. That's actually all mine. As far as I'm aware, my allies' armies, they do not have any archers at all, or a very small amount of them. So we're going to have to do a little bit of something about that, maybe in the future. But as I say, my reasoning for my composition I've already explained, so hopefully it's going to make a difference. I mean, I've been doing that for a while now, and it seems to make a difference. It seems to make it very difficult for enemies to take back the fiefs that we have captured, and I'm very much hoping that that is going to remain the same as we go forward in our conquest of the Cortanians' fiefs. Bear in mind that obviously that is pretty much what we're going to be focusing on in this episode. We're going to try and take as many Cortanian fiefs as we can get our hands on. Unfortunately, because we have such a wide variety of enemies attacking us at the time, so I'm talking about factions here, of course we are at war against 3 of them, it kind of splits all of my ally friends' attention in a way that you would never want, because they're going to be doing stuff that you don't want them to do, you know? They're going to be running all over the place, basically, just like headless chickens, just being like, who should I attack? Should I attack these guys? Should I attack those guys? And so on and so forth. And it's really just going to make it a huge mess. Whereas if we just had 1 or 2 factions even declaring war against us, then it would be slightly easier to give them a sense of direction. But of course, as it stands, that's not how it is right now. Anyway, some people in the comments actually let me know that the rebellion is someone that wants to overthrow the leader in our faction. And I gotta say, I have no idea how I'm supposed to check that. How am I supposed to check that? Because that sounds extremely interesting. Personally, I feel like the leader that we have at the moment has been doing a very good job. I actually don't think that he's been doing a bad job at all. I think he's been perfectly fine. So I'm not sure whether it really makes sense for me to support the rebels in their efforts. But let's just take a quick look, shall we? Because this is where we currently are. The Batanians are, of course, basically done. I don't think they have captured anything else. At least I hope they haven't. It seems to me like they haven't, so that is all fine and good. And you can see here that they actually took back Rovalt Castle. I mean, it is to be expected that sometimes there's just going to be a much larger army than the garrison that is there, and even with the defensive bonuses that they have within that garrison, it's just not going to be enough to prevent it from being retaken. But as it stands, the army that I think took that had over 900 units, and I think now they have about 650, maybe 700, so you can see just how much damage a smallish garrison can actually do, as long as the tier of the unit is relatively high, and that's exactly what we're doing there. Anyway, we do have Thomond over there, and he's doing a pretty decent job of besieging Rovalt Castle at the moment. But yes, as I was saying, how do I see where the rebels are? That's the main thing. I have no idea. What if I go to my kingdom screen? Is that going to make a difference? If I go to clans here, does that make any difference? I mean, I can't really... I can't really tell. I mean, that's the main problem here, isn't it? This guy's the leader. So, as you can see, I can spend influence to increase the influence of a selected clan. So I could do this. I can donate gold, or I can propose to expel this clan from the kingdom. Obviously, that is never going to happen because they are the ruling clan. And also there's no support for it anyway, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, to be fair. And, there it is. Oh, okay. Whew. Okay, so thank you very much for letting me know that that was actually what was happening. And you can see here, they have nothing. They basically have nothing. They want the leader to abdicate, but it is not going to happen in a million years. I mean, good luck to them, but it really is not going to happen, as you can quite clearly tell. They have 464 support, and the kingdom as a whole has over 18,000. It's highly unlikely they'd be able to do anything as a result of that. So there's that anyway. Okay, so we have some policies that we might want to go for here. Do we, though? That's the thing. Do we? The things that currently have a lot of support are not great. This is actually pretty good. Influence cost of inviting lower tier clans to army increased by 10%, but also you gain 0.5. I think I'm going to try and get this. This seems pretty good to me, because we're going to be getting a little bit more influence then, even though influence, in my opinion, is basically useless, at least for me. I mean, I've got 3,000 of it. It's highly unlikely that it's really that I'm going to spend any near that amount. Anywhere near that amount is never going to get spent. What about this? Ooh, that's pretty nice. Tier 5 clans lose 1 influence per day and the party size of their leaders is increased by 40. How much am I actually gaining per day? Oh, yeah, as you can see, I actually have too many fiefs, and I also have a decay of high influence. So I am actually losing influence per day anyway, so let's just lose some more. Why not? Let's just lose some more and see what happens. So we're just gonna get some additional party size. That could be quite nice. Castle, I mean, why does this guy not want, why does he not want party upgrades to be reduced in cost? That's kind of weird, isn't it? That feels kind of weird to me. Oh well, never mind. Tax from towns reduced by 5%. I don't know whether I really care about that either. Food production in towns increased. That's pretty nice. Let's do that. Why does he care about this? Look at this. Why does this guy? Why is he such a down in the dumps kind of guy? I don't know. He's kind of being a bit irritating because he's basically opposing almost every single policy at this point. And it's kind of weird. I don't know why they... I have no idea. Anyway, we've gotten a bunch of extra policies going, and I'm thinking we might... Okay, never mind. Thinking we might take Rovalt. Yeah, I was actually going to say, let's take Oxhall, because that seems like a pretty decent one to go for. But Oxhall has so many units there. It's basically going to be one of those bloodbaths that we're going to have to spend a little bit of extra time on. Probably try and destroy some of the walls there. But it's probably a better idea to go for Rovalt here and just reduce the amount of chances that the enemy will be able to reinforce their various armies. And you can see that Belgier is actually coming here to defend, but it is too late, sir. Oh yes, you are much too late. And I will now be able to go in here and have no problems whatsoever. Hopefully we'll be able to do something, take this with not too many difficulties, and hopefully I won't actually get myself killed either by slipping off the walls, because that's generally what I tend to do some of the time, most of the time. And hopefully he'll waste a bunch of his army strength attempting to take it back, which is absolutely fine with me. I think that's actually a fantastic thing to do. So we'll see whether he actually decides to do that. This is actually one of those fiefs that I really like, because you can see the walls. Look at the walls. They're so incredibly high up that it makes it very difficult, or at least I think it makes it difficult for the enemy archers to pretty much do anything. You know, it takes a lot for them to target me from here, because you can see the gaps in the walls are just way too thin, or way too narrow, shall we say, and it's going to be very difficult for them to do anything to me at this point. And on top of that, obviously, there are a lot of walls, and I'm talking about there are many different sides to the walls, and it's going to be very difficult for a defending force to cover all of it. And you can see here that they're basically just standing here, basically doing nothing, which of course doesn't help. Doesn't help them at all to be doing that. But yeah, anyway, we're just going to try and do as much damage as I can here. I've got to be very careful about taking glancing blows, because that can easily be very detrimental to my HP over time. You know, if I take 5 damage here, 10 damage there, and so on, then eventually it's going to add up, and then I will be dead before I know it. So hopefully I'm just going to act a little bit cautiously than I usually do, because there's quite a few units in here, and it is indeed a town. Obviously, I'm going to have to play even more carefully if I were to try and take Oxhall. But as it stands right now, we shouldn't have too many difficulties. I'm going to tell my people to charge in just a second. I just didn't want to get shot in the face while I was doing that, because I, of course, have to take my hand off the mouse and all that stuff to be able to, you know, select everyone and tell them to charge in and so on. So I definitely wanted to make sure I was in a safe-ish place before doing that. Anyway, this is maybe... I think I might die. I think I might die here. Yes, thankfully I was able to kill that Cortanian recruit. That guy was really annoying me. There we go. Nice that we were able to take out that guy as well. And these guys are actually shooting me. I can't believe you. Get out of here. Thank you. And maybe I can do some damage to this guy as well. Oh, there's actually a step. Wait a minute. Are you serious right now? Did you just notice this? I'm going to show you. Going to show you in just a second. If I don't die. Well, that's where their reinforcements are coming from by the looks of things, so I guess I will just make my way down here. Oh no, look at that. I actually can't. I need to actually show you this before I die. I can't go through here. Look at this. You see this? I'm literally walking forward right now, but I cannot enter this area. You know why that is? I have a slightly taller character. Yep. Okay. I literally had to crouch. Yes. I literally had to crouch to get through there. That's very realistic, isn't it? Yes, I mean, look at this. Look at this. I cannot go through... Oh, there we go, there we go. I can actually go through there that way. But look, if I try to get down here, it's not going to work unless I were to crouch. That is absolutely hilarious. That is very, very funny to me. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is. Wow. Okay, I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, that cannot be, right? It cannot be that I am being penalized for choosing a slightly... Isn't my guy, like, middle of the road? Isn't he, like, super average in terms of his height? I didn't make him particularly tall as far as I'm aware, but maybe he's slightly taller than average, and that's the reason why he can't go through there. But I find that absolutely hilarious that they made that a decision. They were like, oh, you know what, our fiefs could use? Oh, yes, making them so that they're height adaptable. And I mean, yeah, that's absolutely fine in general. I have no problem with making it so that maybe smaller combatants have a small advantage, haha, if you'll forgive the pun, have a small advantage in regards to getting into these various areas, tighter spaces, close quarters combats, stuff like that. I have no problem with that kind of thing. However, for it to be that, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's a little bit finicky, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things that you kind of think, wait a minute, I should be able to get in here, right? No, you're not. So I don't know, maybe it needs to be a little bit more obvious that I can't go in there, potentially. Maybe that would be a little helpful. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe it's just a bug. I mean, not a bug, but maybe it's like a thing that has been overlooked or something like that. Surely it's not done on purpose. I've never encountered anything like that before. But maybe it is indeed a design decision that they went with. And I actually, as I say, I don't mind it. I just found it rather odd. I found it rather odd to see that randomly when I had literally never had anything like that happen ever before. So it is quite amusing to me, to say the least. Anyway, I'm just going to sell all my prisoners here, and we're going to probably try and do some battle against this guy. We're going to just literally, take him down, because obviously, as you can see right here, he's literally deciding to surrender, which is exactly what we wanted him to do, of course, and I'll just take all the prisoners there as well. This is obviously going to be fantastic, because I'm right next to a town, so I can literally just go straight on in there, go to the tavern, and be like, hello there, give me all that cash, thank you very much. And now we can go to the next castle, and then Osterkon. I'm hopeful that Osterkon does not have a huge amount of people there. Unfortunately, Druimore Castle does seem to be rather adequately defended, and it seems like Sargeth is now being assaulted, which is not great. Not much I can do about that at the moment, unfortunately, because I'm on a bit of a tear at the moment. I would like to be able to expand my territory quite significantly, and if that means having to, well, sacrifice, or shall we say, break a couple of eggs, then, well, that's just how it's going to have to be. Anyway, let's lead the assault here. I thankfully do have a decent amount of HP back, and I'm at 100%, or at least I think I'm at 100%. And this is going to be a castle here, so this also shouldn't be that bad. But obviously, I was managing to get quite a few kills in the previous fight, which I think definitely made a huge difference to how well we were able to capture it. Because usually, if I do badly, it kind of reflects poorly on my forces. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but if I die immediately, usually it results in a lot of my people having, I'm not sure, maybe morale difficulties. Maybe a couple of people are deciding that they want to run away. You know, maybe they're doing something like that. I have no idea. But all I know is that when I'm actually alive and contributing to the fight, it makes a huge difference to my forces and their effectiveness. So let's see if I can maybe survive this one. I mean, of course, there's not that many people here, but you never know what can happen. You can get shot in the face, you can get poked in the face by a massive polearm. Let's face it, it's probably going to happen. And, well, let's just see what we can do. I'm hopeful that we will not encounter another thing, another thing like the invisible wall that we had from a previous episode as well. Got to be careful about these hammers as well. They have a lot of penetration through our armor, because we are wearing heavy armor. So I'm just going to continue going for these overheads, just trying to outspeed the opponent as much as I possibly can. It's very, very difficult to actually get attacks going on here, so you've got to attack from the right angle as well, because the wall is just so incredibly close. And that can make a huge difference too. I was actually thinking of going for a shield bash here, but I thought to myself, nah, you know what? It's probably just easier just to go for the straight up attack, because they're probably going to beat me off the bat anyway. I mean, just look at this guy right now. This guy is literally beating me just because he has a much faster weapon. And it's funny because I'm using a weapon that is built for speed. Built for speed, built for a medium reach, medium length. And it is, of course, pretty high handling as well, so it's easy to use. But I'm still beaten from this guy. This guy's using a blacksmith's hammer or something like that. And he seems to be doing so much damage to us. And that really speaks volumes about the weapon classes in Bannerlord as well, because you think, oh, surely a sword that has been crafted in the fires of Mount Doom. Well, not yet. Let's wait for the mods for that to come out. But yes, generally, a sword that has been crafted by a skilled-ish blacksmith is not as good as frankly, a terrible hammer that is very generic, you know? I mean, that's generally what these guys are using, because they are, well, relatively low tier. I don't want to be too disrespectful towards them, but still, they are militia, and they are not a lord of you know, their own army, and they don't have a massive amount of different fiefs like we do, and so on and so forth. And they are capable of beating Byron's face in pretty easily, and that definitely makes you think, you know, makes you think, hey, what's going on there, you know, what's going on there? But I guess that is just the case. You know, that was the reason why I actually created that that other weapon a long time ago, where I was like, oh yes, okay, I need to make sure that I go for something that gives me the utmost advantage in terms of weapon speed. Weapon speed is super, super important. And, well, it actually didn't really work out in my favor. I didn't really like it that much, you know? I felt like the reach was not enough. I felt like the speed just wasn't worth it. And generally, I just kind of gave up using it after a while because it really just didn't do enough. And I think it just didn't have enough damage. And yeah, that is the case here as well. But they're still capable of almost killing me, as you can see right here. I should not be taking this much damage. Maybe I just need to be a little bit more defensive. Maybe that's all it is. You know, might just be my own way of playing, potentially, or the fact that I am literally running in and being quite aggressive, kind of reckless, and it could just be that. So maybe next time I'm in a siege or something like that, I can kind of be a little bit more careful about things. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to go into Ox Hall, I'm going to be very careful. I don't want to get myself taken out super fast there, that's for sure, because I am going to be needed. I will be required to stay alive. Because if I don't, oh, you can kiss that siege goodbye. I'm going to lose that in an instant if I get killed. And that just kind of worries me, because in this one, there was only, what, 300 units here or something like that? There was only 300 units, and still, I was not capable of doing anything. I still went to 15% HP or something like that. And that really, ooh, that's a bit worrying, you know? That is a bit worrying. Anyway, there you go. We've taken another castle. Let's take a quick look at Osterken real fast, just to make sure that we know exactly what's going on there. Only 500. Alright, I think we might be able to take Osterken, but what I'm going to need to do is go over to Praven and see what we can do there. We're probably going to have to bring out some more units. I believe that I went there just now to pull out some more people, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to go to Valenby instead. That's... oh, there's actually another town over here as well. I had no idea. Yeah, that's Calradia expanded for you. They do add a whole bunch of extra things that you have to take, and this has 600 plus. So that's also going to be a little bit problematic. But anyway, there are a number of sieges going on here. Drovraz Castle has been besieged by the Aserai. Well, obviously that is one of mine. I can't really do much about that, unfortunately, because it is just so far away. But Mina is actually going ahead and maybe... oh no, never mind. She's actually on the way to defend Drovraz Castle. I was actually hoping that she might take Kasira. That would have been a much better use of her time, but, well... the AI is sometimes very good, but other times kind of not. So it seems like she's not really doing as... I mean, that would be a really good swap, you know. That would be a really good swap. Drovraz Castle for Kasira, I'll take that swap any day, but... oh well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to be attempting to take Osterken and Tyr in the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.